Today's topic is syntax-directed translation. The principle of syntax-directed translation states that the meaning of an input sentence is related to its syntactic structure, that is, its parse tree. By syntax-directed translations, we indicate those formalisms for specifying translations for programming language constructs guided by the context-free grammars. We associate attributes to the grammar symbols representing the language constructs. Values for attributes are computed by semantic rules associated with grammar productions. The evaluation of semantic rules may generate the code, inserts the information into the symbol table, it performs the semantic check, and it issues the error messages. There are two notations for attaching semantic rules: the syntax-directed translations and the syntax-directed definitions. The high-level specification that hides many implementation details, and it's also known as an attribute grammars, whereas the translation schemes, it's more implementation oriented. It tells us the order in which the semantic rules are evaluated. The syntax-directed definitions are generalization of the context-free grammars. The grammar symbols have an associated set of attributes. I repeat, grammar symbols have an associated set of attributes. Productions are associated with semantic rules. Productions are associated with semantic rules for computing the values of those attributes. For example, we would be representing as a grammar symbol x dot a. If we represent it as x dot a, it indicates the attribute a of that grammar symbol x. And such formalism that produces the attribute for a given grammar symbol, when we represent it in a parse tree, it's known as an annotated parse tree, where each node of the tree is a record with this field of attribute. The value of an attribute of a grammar symbol at a given parse tree node is defined by a semantic rule associated with the production used at that node. We distinguish two different kinds of attributes: synthesized attributes and inherited attributes. The synthesized attributes are computed from the values of the attributes of the children nodes, whereas inherited attributes are computed from the values of attributes of both the siblings and the parent nodes. So that's the difference between a synthesized and an inherited attribute. The synthesized attributes are computed from the values of the attributes of the children nodes, whereas inherited attributes are computed from the values of the attributes of both siblings and the parent nodes. Considering an example for an arithmetic expression, the syntax-directed definition associates to each non-terminal a synthesized attribute called val. So this is an attribute that we are going to put it for the given productions. For example, the production L can have the form En. L can have the form En that produces the final output. So we can put it as semantic rule print E dot val. Val represents an attribute, that is a synthesized attribute. E can have the form of E of 1 plus T, E of 1, that is the second occurrence of E in the given production. E dot val is equals to E of 1 dot val plus T dot val. Means the grammar symbols, that is a non-terminal symbols, we are associating it with an attribute, that is val, where val represents the value. In the same manner, E can have the form of T that represents E dot val is equals to T. the t can have the form of t1 asterisk f, that is represented as t dot val is equals to t of 1 dot val into f dot val. Same way, f can have the form of bracket of e, where bracket opening and the closing parenthesis represents a terminal symbol. So we would be writing the semantic rule as f dot val is equals to e dot val. We don't need to specify for the terminal symbols with any attribute values. F can have the form of digit, where f dot val is equals to digit dot lex val, where lex val represents the lexical value that is retrieved from the symbol table. An S-attributed definition. An S-attributed definition is a syntax-directed definition that uses only synthesized attributes. So while going through with an attributes, we have discussed two types of attributes. One is a synthesized attributes and another is an inherited attributes. So an S-attributed definition is a syntax-directed definition that uses only synthesized attributes. The evaluation order. The semantic rules in an S-attributed definition. S-attributed definition means only using the synthesized attributes, can be evaluated by a bottom-up or a post-order traversal of the parse tree. I repeat it, can be evaluated by a bottom-up or a post-order traversal of the parse tree. The above arithmetic grammar is an example of an S-attributed definition. So the example that we are going to see it's an example of an S-attributed definition. The annotated parse tree for the given input 3 multiplied by 5 plus 4n for the previous given grammar, that is L can have the form of en, would be represented in the terms as L can have the form of e of val dot, that is L can have the form of en, where e can have the form of e plus t, e can have the form of t, t can have the form of f, f can have the form of digit dot lex val, t can have the form of t asterisk f dot val, and f dot val can have the form of digit dot lex val, and f dot val can have the form of digit dot lex val. This is a parse tree that is constructed for the given input 3 asterisk 5 plus 4n for the given grammar with the productions L can have the form of en, e can have the form of e of 1 plus t. The same way f can have the form of digit. Now once the parse tree is constructed, this parse tree is going to be represented by the attributes, that is the semantic rules for the given grammars. Once we represent it with the semantic rules, the given parse tree is known as an annotated parse tree. So as such, if I am going to put the semantic rules based on the productions that we have used it, that is with the previous one, L can have the form of en is represented as print.eval, and e can have the form of e of 1 dot t as e dot val of e of 1 dot val plus t dot val. So L can have the form of e of val, that is print e dot val, n, where e dot val is represented by e of 1 dot val plus t dot val, e of 1 dot val. So if I am going to take the input as 3 into 5 plus 4n, so it represents that digit dot lex val, that is would be the 3. So the 3 is going to be assigned, 3 is going to be assigned by the help of f dot val, that is 3 would be assigned to f dot val. So in the same way, this f dot val have now become 3. Now by the production t can have the form of f, so t dot val is equals to f dot val, so this 3 would be now assigned to the t dot val. Same way f can have the form of digit, so 5 would be assigned to f. In the same manner, continuation, t dot val is equals to 15. So this bottom-up evaluation of a parse tree or an annotated parse tree represents an S-attributed definition, because we have already seen the synthesized attributes are the values that are computed by the children nodes. So going through with example of this one, we find that the values are computed. Now coming to the inherited attributes. The inherited attributes are useful for expressing the dependence of a construct on the context in which appears. So we have previously seen with the S attributed definition means completely it evaluates based on the synthesized attributes. All of the attributes that it was representing over with the given example is for the synthesized attributes. None of the attributes is going to be of an inherited type, and thus this entire example represents an S attributed definition. Now coming to the inherited attributes that are useful for expressing the dependence of a construct on the context in which it appears. It is always possible to rewrite a syntax directed definition to use only synthesized attributes, but it is often more natural to use both synthesized and inherited attributes. The evaluation order. The inherited attributes cannot be evaluated by a simple pre-ordered traversal of the parse tree. Unlike the synthesized attributes, the order in which the inherited attributes of the children are computed is important. The inherited attributes of the children can depend from both left and right siblings. Now let us consider an example for an inherited attribute. The example is given for a type declaration. A production D can have the form of TL. It represents a declaration can be of the form type followed by a list of identifiers, that is L. I repeated, a declaration can be of the form TL where T represents the type and L represents the list of identifiers that can follow. For example, if I am going to write down int A, B, C, it means that the variables A, B and C is of the type integer. So D represents the declaration, T represents the type and L represents the identifiers. Now if I am going to put it as T, it can be of the form integer, a T can be of the form real. L, it can be of the form of L, ID, where second representation of the L we are writing it as L1, where L can be having a form of ID. So if I am going to write down a semantic rule, means I need to associate each grammar symbol with an attribute value. For here D can have the form of TL, means L is going to be of the type that would be represented by T. Hence the semantic rule is L dot in is equal to T dot type, where L dot in, where dot in attribute represents inherited type that is going to inherit the type T, where T can be either an integer or it can be a real. It means that if I am going to write down a statement as int A, B, it means that A is going to inherit the type that is T, means integer, where T can have the form of integer, T can have the form of real. L can have the form of, so L dot in is equal to L dot in. Whatever this L is going to inherit the type that is going to be inherited by the type T. L dot ID, L can have the form of ID, that is add type, means it's from the symbol table, that is ID dot entry, L dot in. We are going to add it onto the symbol table, the ID with the type of L that is inherited by the type T. The non-terminal capital T has a synthesized attribute that is type. So T dot type, both are the synthesized attributes. L dot in and L1 dot in is going to be of an inherited type, determined by the keyword in the declaration. The production D can have the form of TL is associated with the semantic rule, that is L with the type that is L dot in. The production D can have the form of TL is associated with the semantic rule L dot in is equals to T dot type, which set the inherited attribute L dot in as discussed earlier. The production L can have the form of L1, ID distinguishes the two occurrences of L, that too as told earlier. That is, L can have the form of L1. L1 is not going to be any new non-terminal, but it's the same L, but the second occurrence is distinguished by the term as L1. The synthesized attributes can be evaluated by a post-order traversal that we have seen it earlier, whereas inherited attributes that do not depend from the right children can be evaluated by a classical pre-order traversal. The annotated pass tree for the input real ID1, ID2, ID3. An example, considering the pass tree, D can have the form of TL, where L can have the form of L, ID. Further, L can have the form of L, ID, and L can have the form of ID, where T dot type is equals to real can be of the type real. So in this way, the given input real ID1, ID2, ID3, this is the pass tree that is generated. Now to this pass tree, that is an annotated pass tree, we are going to have an evaluation order in which the code would be generated for the further processing. What we find it, that is T dot type is equals to real, that is by the production that is real, it's going to be of a synthesized attribute, whereas D can have the form of TL, that is L dot in, it's an inherited type that is going to inherit the type T, that is real, inherited by this L. So this is going to be an inherited attribute, that is L dot in. Same way, we find it, this L is going to inherit the type that is going to be inherited by this L by T. Continuation in the same manner, we find this L is going to inherit the type that is going to be inherited by this L. So L dot in is then inherited top down the tree by the other L nodes, that is top down, not the bottom up, that we have already seen it for the synthesized attribute. At each L node, the procedure add type inserts into the symbol table the type of the identifier that already we had discussed in the previous example. So in this way, we have seen the synthesized attributes and the inherited attributes. We have seen an S attributed definitions. We have gone through with an inherited attributes. So inherited attributes, that is going to be dependent with the previous set of instructions that we have given it for the given input. So this is an example for an inherited attributes, and this is an example for an S attributed definition, that is the synthesized attributes. So synthesized attributes, given example, inherited attribute, the given example. I hope with this the syntax directed definitions, that is the synthesized attributes, inherited attributes, the S attributed definitions, how and why we put it in terms of an attribute, that is to get the evaluation order of the given input sentence.